What's up, guys? This is the last video of the quarter. I said at the beginning I'd do one per week, and I wanted to stick with that, but after the Thanksgiving week, obviously I won't be introducing any new stuff or having new material, so this will be the last video like this. And just a quick recap, I know I've told you guys this before, but Friday, November 20th, which is tomorrow, that's when I'm going to try to grade everything. If you have your project turned in and it's great and it's perfect, then maybe you're done at that point. I'll have one or two little extra fun things in these weeks, but most groups will have a little bit to fix. So I'll grade them and say like, oh, well, you're missing this thing. Can you go back and add it? Or some of them I'm just telling people to proofread. Like I graded one yesterday where I said, oh, the quiz looks awesome, but you have a bunch of typos. So I told them to go check that. A couple groups will get a 0, but they can still turn it in afterwards. So just to be clear, I'm putting in the grades, but that doesn't mean they're locked in. You can turn stuff in afterwards. You can fix stuff afterwards. In fact, that's what that time is for. I just don't want to wait and put in a grade at the end and then have no time to change it or no time to react. So I may send an email to parents describing that just so nobody is confused. But basically, after this time, you can still do stuff and your grade can still go up, but it probably won't go down. So let's look at the assignments real quick, because I've had a few questions. The number one question I've been getting from people is a very simple one, which is, hey, do I have to turn it in on every single one? You know, people are thinking, do I have to turn in my links here and here and here? And the answer is no. Of course, I put them in separate things on Classroom because if somebody looks in the gradebook, they want to click the thing with the same title over here. But when I grade these, I'm going to look at this one, the one that says team contract. And, you know, I don't know why some are marked graded or not, but it doesn't matter. If I click on one, or if I click on another one, it'll have the people, so I'll know who did it. It'll have the link to the replit, so I can go there. And it'll have the link to their spreadsheet. So everything's, and their topic, just in case it was not clear in the first place. So these guys, I will click this, look at their stuff, check the spreadsheet, check who's doing it. I might put comments in this part. I might put comments on the Google Doc itself. But this is what I'll look at when I'm going to grade them. If it's not there, hopefully it's on one of the others. Like some people turn their thing in on the final version, and that's fine. If it's not there at all and I just haven't seen it at all, then that's a problem. But if your thing is turned in on any one of these, then I'll find it. Sometimes I go to the people section on Google Classroom, and if I clicked on a person, then it would have all their stuff and whether it's turned in or not. So number one question is, hey, do we have to turn it in every time? The answer is no. I'm going to look at the contract. If it's not there, I'll find it. If it's not anywhere, I'll probably email you. The only problem is if you have multiple replits, like this one has that link. If for some reason she made another one and then I was clicking on the old link, that would be a problem. Or if these guys made another one and I was clicking on the old link, that would be a problem. But we'll figure those out. So anyway, once you've got your template and it works and it displays a welcome and questions and the final result with your own questions, then you'll have the points for all these things. And the final version is to add something unique, something on the welcome screen. For example, it could say, hey, type in your name, and then you save it. And then at the end, it says like, well, good job, Tim. You know, you got 50% correct or something. You could do a score and display it the whole way or at the end or with the button. You could add a button like skip, hint, back, something like that. You could do a new type of question You could add audio. And my number one tip for all that is to click on this thing, the code mod examples section. This is on the same page where you did the tutorial, where I sent a lot of people to this page about the question database, getting your Google Sheet linked and all that stuff. But the code mod examples is what you're going to look at for the last step. You don't have to do exactly what they do, but it'll give you inspiration. So the true false will show you how to make fewer buttons, and you could use that for other types of questions that aren't just true false. The next question will show you how to add a button, and you could use that if you were adding a different kind of button, like a hint or something. Okay, you could change the content of this function here. But once you learn that, once you learn how to do the append, that's sort of a main theme of the project here, is that we got JavaScript editing the HTML, and we got HTML mentioning the CSS, and we got CSS being used in the JavaScript. You know, it's all back and forth between these files and these languages that are really interconnected. So if you wanted to add something at the beginning where they choose a category, that has to do with one more screen, one more div section, which you've already done for welcome and question and results. And you can do another. Even if it's not category choice, you might end up doing something else. And then a little function to display it, and then a little function to, like, once they click one, then it will send you down that path, you know. You can do sound. A lot of people did sound in Q1 and it worked, and you can do sound that's just like all the time in the background. I wouldn't recommend that because it's usually annoying to have autoplay, but it's very nice to have like a little ding when you click the right answer, or a little bad ding when you click the wrong answer. So the way you'll do that is to upload them into the folder and then call them up at a certain moment when you you know, click a certain button or correct or incorrect. So again, you won't necessarily do exactly what they do, but you'll use the idea of how to add sounds, how to add buttons, how to add screens, whatever you want. Obviously, my number one tip is that it should work. I know that sounds stupid, but it's the most important thing. When I check these, you know, I'm going to hit run on the replet, and if it shows up and it does what it does, then that's the most important thing. So if you're thinking about adding multiple features, for example, if you're thinking about adding a button and giving it a sound, well, do those one at a time, okay? Because if you have one thing and you lock it in, and then you think, let's take the next step, very few things can go wrong, because all you have to do is go back one step if it didn't work, you know. But if you're trying to add like a sound and a button and a new screen, and none of them work and the whole thing is messed up, then you're in a bad spot. So do one thing at a time. You can very easily get on a roll and like do one, do another, do another. And I've had some groups that like add a thing and then they change the look, and then they change the type of questions to fit. Oh, well, now that we have this, we can do this, and now that we have this. So I have a couple groups who are like doing lots of little changes that end up adding up to something cool. But you don't have to do that, and you definitely don't have to do that all at once. Okay, if you have one thing, you got it. For this final grade, even though it's 100 points, it's really just kind of one big thing. If I hit run, do I see a new feature? Okay, similar to last quarter, I said just add something with JavaScript to your page, and it could have been small, it could have been big, it could have been multi-part, but if you had one and it worked, you got it. So that's pretty much it. I want to keep this video short. I appreciate the couple people who are watching, or the people who click on it later and check out what was going on. But I'm grading tomorrow, but that does not mean the quarter's over. You can turn in stuff after, you can fix stuff after, you can ask questions, you can do all this stuff. I'm just putting it in this day so that we know what the situation is and nobody's surprised at the end. So feel free to check Google Classroom after this. I'll post 1 or 2 things in each class just to say hi, or maybe offer little fun / bonus / interactive things. But obviously I won't do new assignments or new units. Today, I'm just going to go through some of these contracts and click on it, open it, and then I'll put comments and say, hey, good job with this, but don't forget this. It might be stuff like proofreading, like, hey, you got some typos here. It might be stuff like aesthetics and accessibility. I might say, hey, the colors are difficult to distinguish what's a button and what's not, or what's a link and what's not, or the text is hard to read. And so I might give little things like, hey, just fix the design, because remember, design was one of the sections of this. But anyway, that's it for today. Thanks for paying attention, and I will see you guys soon.